webinar from Exo Thailand. It's about the hidden gems and secret retreats in Thailand. To introduce myself, my name is Kim Rasmussen. I've been working here in Exo Thailand now for 4.5 years. I've been living now in Thailand for 12 years, and I love my job. I'm creating products and traveling around the country and being able to present for you some of my findings. So that's a great thing. What is new in Thailand? There's a few things that I decided to put on here. There's a new updated Michelin guide, some new restaurants that's worth to mention, and the pocket Wi-Fi. So the new Michelin guide came out, and there is one restaurant that got now 2 stars compared to last year. So that's Suring down in the bottom right corner here. So that was upgraded from 1 star. There were no restaurants that lost their star. That means there were only new 1-star restaurants added. So all the ones you see here on the right were all added. And the last one here, Pru, is at Trisara in Phuket. So that's the only restaurant in Thailand that's not located in Bangkok. That's Michelin. So this is the overview and all the Michelin restaurants. And over here is the link in case you want to know more or see more about that. The pocket Wi-Fi is something we provide to our travelers. So this you can input in your files. It costs 1,000 baht, and then you can use it for a month, up until 8 people can tune in on the same device. So it's very useful to have when you're in transfers or when you visit temples or go to a restaurant. Then you can always be connected with this one. Just put it in your bag or in your pocket, and then you will have a Wi-Fi everywhere. So the agenda today, to go through some hidden gems. First will be Isan, Loei, and Udon Thani. So Udon Thani is up here, very close to Laos, and Loei is over here. Then we have the north and lower north, where we have Sukhothai. Lampang is just south of Chiang Mai. We have Tak, which is over here on the border to Burma. And we have Nan, which is up here. And then we have in the south, Chumphon and Ranong, which is in the middle here, before you get down to Phuket and Krabi. First up is Loei and Udon Thani. So getting there is, you can fly directly to Loei, which is up here. It's a 1-hour flight. It's AirAsia or Navigair flying up there. Otherwise, you can take a train to Udon Thani. And then from Udon Thani, you can connect by road to Loei, which is about 2 or 3 hours drive. In Loei itself, there's a lot of different areas. So Loei Palace Hotel here is what they call Loei City. Then they have the different wildlife sanctuaries. So there's Puluang here. Down here is the Phu Kra Dung, which is famous for hiking. There's a famous cave here. Over here is Dan Sai. And then up here is Siang Khan. So all is about 1 hour in between everything. So those are the places you need to explore if going to Loei. What can you do there in Loei province? Number 1 is hiking and trekking. That's what it's famous for. I would call it soft trekking. It's not very steep, but it's flat routes that you elevate and you can walk up easily. This footstep you see here, it's from a dinosaur, and this we saw at Puluang when we went there. And the mask you see here is the Pitakon Festival, which happens in Dan Sai. It's a very laid-back lifestyle. When you go to Loei, anywhere you go, you can really feel that time stands still. And there's a lot of places for domestic tourism. So, for example, they have a Mount Fuji of Thailand, which I found very interesting, and also the transportation you have to take to go up to see the mountain. And there's a walking street in Siang Khan on the river, which is very beautiful, but there's a lot of domestic tourists if you come during the weekend, but still very well worth it. This is the Puluang Wildlife Sanctuary. So this was my biggest highlight. So easy walk, but fantastic views you get when you get up on the top. And you walk with a local ranger through the wilderness, and you see a lot of flowers, different species. And we also saw a wild elephant when we came out. So that do exist in that area as well. Chiang Khăn, as mentioned, on the river bank. Lao is just opposite. To best describe it is if you know Pai or you know Amphoe, is very similar, these old wooden houses, and some of them transformed into small shops or restaurants, and some will be hotels. So this is the area, so very charming area, and in the morning you can give alms to the monks if you wake up early enough at 6. And one hidden gem in terms of accommodation, so you have Mekong Villas, which is belonging to Kun Narisa, this lady, which is of royal descent from Chakrabongsi in Bangkok, is same owner as this one. So you'll have these wooden houses. There's one swimming pool and another wooden house here. This is how they live inside. So because it belongs to the royal family, the service is exceptional. So it's a great place to book for your clients to stay. And normally I'm not very good at sitting still, but here when you sat on the river, I could just sit there for days and just look at the river moving. And very tranquil and very beautiful place. So Mekong Villas, that's definitely something to keep in mind if you want to find some nice accommodation off the beaten track. As I mentioned, Udon Thani is the place where you arrive with train, and is also the connecting point if you continue up to Nong Khai and further into Laos. But there is one thing, if you go from December until February, don't miss the pink lotus flower. You go out on one of these boats, and then the lake is just filled with pink flowers like this, pink lotus flowers. It's so beautiful. And it's just one of these natural phenomena that can be done very cost effective. And I think it was something to include if you come in those regions for sure in that period. There's 2 hotels that I would recommend in Udon Thani. The one here on the left is called Paradise Hotel. That was quite nice, new renovated boutique hotel. And the one over here is called Brown House Hotel. So there's 2 good hotels options in Udon Thani where you can stay overnight. Nan is the next destination to talk about. This picture here is taken from the famous temple on the mountain in Nan. The thing about Nan is you need to understand that the city is here. And when you are in Nan, then everything happens. Of course, there's some attractions in the city, but most will be in the sub-regions around here. And it's about 1 hour to get to every place. So the best way when you explore in Nan, because it's a destination where you stay 1 or 2 nights, is basically to do it on the way in. If you come from Chiang Mai here, you come in this way, so you can make your stops here, go to Nan, and then you maybe continue out this way if you go down to Bangkok or Phitsanulok or whatever way you're going, and do your stops on that way. So that's the way to kind of include the activities in Nan. So you do it before you get to the city and when you get out of the city. So what is there to do in Nan province? There's quite a lot. So this is the statue that you saw in the first picture, Wat Pratat Khao Noi. That's the viewpoint with the Buddha statue, best for sunset. There's an agriculture station called Pupayak, where they have former opium making. So that's similar to what happened in Chiang Rai and the Golden Triangle. There's the Tung flag making workshop, which we include for some of our tours at a temple that's in Nan city. So that's what you see the lady is doing down here. There's the Noble House that belongs to some of the royal descendants as well. That's a teak house museum that can be visited. And there's the Riverside Nan Gallery, which is actually quite good if people are into art. Then there's some water mills, flowing fabrics, where they use the water to make the mills go around, and then they actually make fabrics for clothes, so scarves and these kind of things. And then you have a lot of local interactions where you can do the embroidery, like the monk style. You can do coffee roasting. That's actually knife making you see up here on the picture with this guy. So those are kind of workshops you can go and see. And same as what you have in Loei, there's a lot of mist on the mountain. So if you go up in the morning, you'll have all those beautiful views. the place to stay, there's quite a few options in Nan to stay, but the one I found was absolutely the best is the Nan Seasons Boutique Resort. So this one here is freestanding wooden bungalows. It's not a big resort, they have maybe around 20 bungalows, but the feeling when you're there, the service, it was just absolutely great. There's also Nan Boutique Hotel, which we've been using a lot. It's not really that boutique, it's just more of a hotel, and it's cheap, it's affordable, and it's a very good location in the city. But this one here is a real boutique resort. So this is the one I would recommend for your travelers. Then we go to Lampang. So Lampang, which you probably know, is south of Chiang Mai. It's just 1 hour away. There's this new destination that's now very popular for domestic travelers. They call it the Little Bhutan. So as you can see, it's very beautiful. It takes 45 minutes to walk up from the bottom where you park the car. You know, again, 45 minutes to go back again. So it's like maybe a 2-hour hike for most people to get here to get this view. But it's well worth it, as you can see. Lampang, so here's Chiang Mai. Lampang is right here. So it's not far. What we currently working on is we are creating a day trip from Chiang Mai where you go by train down to Lampang. And then in Lampang, you will visit the Little Bhutan we just saw. We will have the van to pick you up from there. Then you go to have noodles at a vintage shop in Walking Street. And then after you're done the Walking Street, we take you to the most famous temple in Lampang and you do the monk blessing. And on the way back to Chiang Mai, we stop at a waterfall. So that's a new itinerary we're doing. So in Lampang, there's again a lot of things to be done. So of course there's a lot of temples, but I think most of your travelers, they will not really be so interested in seeing temples because they've seen the main ones in Bangkok, they've probably seen the main ones in Chiang Mai. So it's not really temples that they need to see. The Wat Phra Thad Lampang Luang is the main temple, so if there's any temples to see, that's the one. Then the mini Bhutan that I showed you on the first picture is well worth it. Then Lampang is also famous for coal mining. And the museum for the coal mining is actually very, very good. It's European standard, so similar to the Museum of the Textile in Grand Palace, if you know that one, or the Hall of Opium in Chiang Mai, which is also kind of Western standard museum. So this one is similar. The Lampang railway station is also worth a stop. It's a very beautiful railway station. The Ceramic Museum, I'll show you a picture later. There's also a wood carving village. Then there's the Walking Street, and then there's hot springs. So here's the Walking Street. It's called Kat Kong Ta Walking Street. And there's a lot of architectural, beautiful buildings there. And every building will have a little explanation about what it is. So basically walking up and down the street, in this particular building, they also have a coffee shop. And opposite this one is the vintage noodle shop that we use. This is the ceramic pottery place. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with this pattern, but anywhere you travel in Thailand, it's very common to see this one. So this is Dam Buri. So that's actually from Lampang. Local villages, rice farms will look like this, and the wooden carvery can also be visited in Lampang. Sukhothai. So Sukhothai, I'll go a little bit more into depth with some excursions we have there. So you know that Chiang Mai is up here in the north, Sukhothai is here, and Uthai Thani is down here, and Bangkok further down. From Bangkok to Sukhothai, it's about 6 hours drive, and from Sukhothai to Chiang Mai, it's another 4 to 5 hours. There's only train running to Phitsanulok, and then from Phitsanulok, it's a 1 hour drive to Sukhothai. But in my honest opinion, I think if you have anyone stopping overnight, Sukhothai is a much better destination than Phitsanulok. And Ban Tak House is here, which I'm going to talk about later. So what is new in Sukhothai? So there's a lot. There's amulet Buddha making that can be done. There's Krathong. If you know the Loy Krathong festival, Krathong is the small flower making. And noodle cooking. There's a Celadon coloring. There's a new community, there's a coffee shop, and then there's a from farm to table activity. So as you can see, there's enough. Normally, most programs you make, Sukhothai is a one-night destination. So now there's a reason to make it a two-night destination. So you can have your clients go to the historical park and then do one of these activities that I'm going to explain now. So the amulet Buddha making is done by this guy. It's just 1 kilometer from the historical park, so you don't really need to travel far to get there. Then you'll do the clay, and then you will make your amulet. And this amulet you will return home with to your home country. So that's the whole idea about it. This guy also learned you how to shoot an arrow and also make fire like he's doing here. So that's part of the things that will be included in the workshop. So it's also good for children. It's been open for 3 years, and the workshop is about 2 hours. The krathong making and the Sukhothai noodle is done at the same place, so it's basically in a restaurant, and then you will learn to make the famous Sukhothai noodle. So it's a little cooking class workshop, and the great thing is that these noodles, called Sukhothai noodles, are actually famous throughout Thailand. So that's where you can make this. So I think it's a good thing to include if you want to have a lunch on one of the days, even the day you visit the historical park, we can do this one. So it takes about 1 hour. The coffee shop looks like this, very cute, sitting down with your feet dangling, overlooking the rice field. And it's actually owned by the GM of Legenda Hotel, but it's not connected at all. So this is his personal business. So it's a great place to stop for a small coffee or refreshment. There's also accommodation, but it's not currently something we sell. But if there's any special request, of course, it can be offered as an alternative. The coloring Celadon workshop is also a nice thing that can be done. You meet with Auntie Nit at Sankalok, and that's the factory, and then you will do the workshop, and you can see the museum. So again, good thing to use for FIT clients. If you have families with children, it's also a fun thing to include. And it takes about 2 hours to do this one. Then the Ban Nampu community, that's new because the one community we normally use when we go to Sukhothai is located north of Sukhothai. That is called Ban Natun. So it's about 45 minutes south, so closer to Kampang Phet. But there's no setup. This is the real deal. So clients need to be aware of that when they go there, that it's not set up for tourism. So expect it to be local, and not many people will speak English. So there will be translation from the guide when you're there. But what you will see is the farming, the buffalo bathing in the pond, like down here. There's rice fields. There's this auntie here making the coconut pudding, and you can also do bamboo weaving like this. So those are the two main attractions that we now include in the program we set up. So again, there's probably different things we can do in the village. So if you have any interest, just let us know. But now we will start including this one in certain programs that we offer. And the from farm to table experiences is at the other community that we use, which is called Ban Nathongjan. So this is north of Sukhothai. It's about 1 hour. So if you go here, it makes sense to do it on the day you travel from Sukhothai to Chiang Mai or Lampang, and then make a stop here. So they got homestays here. They got beautiful activities where you go and see how they make sugarcane, harvest the sugarcane, how they turn them into weaving material. You go to the rice field where you can walk in the rice field on these bamboo walkways. It's a great place. The food is great there, and very friendly environment to go to Ban Nathongjan. Good. That was Sukhothai. Now we're going to jump to Tak, and in Tak we have a place called Ban Tak House. So this is a destination that not many travelers go to because it's located off the tourist route, I would say. So Ban Tak is located here, which is about 1 hour from Sukhothai to the west. And then it's another 1 hour to get to the border to Burma. So and there is a river here, so it's located on the river. So if you want to find a place where people can chill out, or if they're connecting to Burma going there over land, or before they go to Sukhothai or before they go north, Ban Tak is a great place to stop. So it's, as I said, it's very easy to combine with Sukhothai, easy to combine with Burma. It's a home away from home, it's on the river, and then there's a lot of activities that can be arranged on spot with the owner of the house, which is a Danish guy, which is Thai wife, and the Thai wife is normally staying here. She's from this province, so they built this house here. There's mountain bikes that can be rented. There's sit-on top kayaks to go down the river. There's a golf course. There's local temples and markets to go to, and the owner there will take you out there. And you can also do trekking. So the house looks like this. There's two houses. So when you go, basically you get one of the houses for your booking, so you don't mix up. But it's tranquil and very nice and off the beaten track. So as you can see, a nice inclusion to have in your program. Now we're going to jump to the south. So in the south of Thailand, there is Chumpon. Most people know Chumpon because of this guy here. That is the catamaran ferry that goes from Chumpon to Koh Tao and further to Koh Phangan and down to Koh Samui. So that's mostly the reason for people going to Chumpon. They go there because of the ferry connection. There's a few things that you can do in Chumpon, and means that there will not be many tourists in this area because not many people decide to go here for the beaches. I just put on the map that here's Novotel Chumpon, the resort that we use, and here's Tusita. And here is the coffee place that I'm going to mention. So down here first we start with the three resorts, so Novotel, Chumpon Cabana, and Tusita. Those are the three that we book and where clients they stay. But the thing that can be done is the coffee workshop. It's called Kopi Luwak, and that's actually one of the most expensive coffee beans in the world. That's made from Chumpon. There's bird watching, so if people are interested in birds and bird watching, we do get those inquiries once in a while. Then from September to November, there's more than 100,000 birds migrating from Russia, coming in this area. There's the mangrove wooden walkway, as you see here, which is very interesting to visit. There's the sand dunes. So if you've been to other countries where they got sand dunes, like I've been to some in Brazil, I know we have some in Denmark as well. There's big sand dunes, so they're very family friendly. There's rafting that can be done as well on the river. And then there's the most famous beach in Chumpon is called Tung Bua Lan. So Chumpon is a place to keep in mind if you want to find a beach destination without any other tourists. Go to Chumpon. And then we have Ranong. So Ranong is, for me, one of my favorite hidden gems, because I was very, very surprised when I went there how good it was, and so many things to do. This picture here, by the way, is from the Horseshoe Island, one of the islands you visit when you go on the island hopping in Ranong. So here, Lompraya Ferry, so that's Ranong, you basically cross over. So here is Burma, this is the border, and then down here is Ranong City. And from Ranong City, there's a few things that can be done. There's some rafting on this river here. And then when you come down here, this is the pier, basically, if you go on any boat excursion that happens from down here. And here's Koh Payam, which is a famous island. And Koh Chang is also an island. What can be done in Ranong? So first of all, there's a coffee workshop at the Gong Valley, where you meet Mr. Gong himself. This is this guy. So same as in Chumpon, there's a lot of coffee plantations in this area, in the middle of Thailand. So of course there's a coffee workshop to be done here. It's a local interaction, meeting the roaster himself, and you take the beans and all the way understand the process until you get the cup and you taste it. There's island hopping. I would say for all the tours that a lot of our travelers do in Krabi, they do it in Phuket. A lot of people go to Similan, a lot of people go to James Bond Island. It's good tours, there's some main highlights to see, but if you do the tour from Ranong, you will not have any crowds. So if you do that tour from Ranong, they have some very, very beautiful islands, Koh Kang Kao, Koh Yibun, and Koh Dam. Those are the 3 islands, the main 3 islands you see when you go on the speedboat tour. Absolutely stunning scenery, turquoise water, and pure white sand beaches. So this is what you can see here. In Ranong city itself, there's 2 people you can meet. There's this guy here, who runs or is a part of the family from the governor's mansion. So he will open up the doors to the governor's mansion museum, and he will tell you all the things there is to know about the history. And it relates back to Rama V when he was residing in Ranong and built his summer palace there. So a lot of the history comes from there, and Rama V, he traveled a lot overseas and brought back things from France and England, and then he will show some of the souvenirs from there. The other local house we meet, he will show you around the local house, and it's still maintained as 100 years ago, so how the beds were, how the set up in the different rooms, so that's quite interesting to see. More Chinese influence. Ranong is very famous for hot springs and natural springs, and they turned them into some hot spas, made them commercial, but still very nice to visit in the middle of the town. Very charming evening walking street that can be visited. And then they have the Royal Andaman Cruise, which I call a time machine. So they're going in the footsteps of Rama V. I have a picture of that in a while. And then there's the 2 islands, Koh Payam and Koh Pratong, which are both easy accessible from Ranong. Koh Pratong have the Golden Buddha Resort, if you're aware of that one. It's just 4 hours north of Phuket. And in terms of hotels that we recommend, we have the hotels down here. In the town of Ranong, there is the one called The Hidden. So that's a small boutique resort, about 15 bungalows. There is Namsai Khao Soi Resort, that's a bit bigger, but those are by far the 2 best in the city. Golden Buddha is on Koh Pratong, and the Blue Sky Resort is the best on Koh Payam. This is The Hidden. This is Khao Soi Nam Soi. And this is the boat. So when I went on this boat in Ranong, I was very surprised because I wasn't expecting Ranong to have anything like that. This is common for Phuket, if you go there, or even in Krabi or places like that. But in Ranong, they have a boat like this where they serve a fantastic 3-course meal on the boat. You put out the croutons at the end of the boat, right? So float them in the water. There will be live music playing, and they actually also have a gimmick where you get invited to dress up in clothes relating to the Rama V era. So you're going to be royal if you want. It's not mandatory. But the food was amazing, and the cruise itself, when you sail out of the bay, come through small fishermen villages, was just stunning. So very surprised with this one. It can be done on join-in basis. You can also charter the whole boat. It's not very expensive, so it's a thing you could consider. And over here, this is one of the islands. This is Koh Dam. So look at the water, the long-tail boat, and this sand. This is what you get when you go on the island hopping in Ranong. That's what I got for you this time. I hope you learned a little thing about the hidden gems, and that you will include them in some of your programs. So please reach out in case you want to learn more, and if you have any programs where we can adapt to include any hidden gems.